D once again, and we will now get into our Sixers talk of the day. And the first thing I want to talk to you about, fittingly, following the brief discussion and slight breakdown of the 100-page safety policy that was instituted or issued to teams by the NBA. We now move into one of the things I mentioned earlier, and I think that what's going on, Frank, that this article was something that caught my eye, something I thought would bring some good dialogue to the show, if you will. And it's all centered around my beloved Philadelphia 76ers. This is just one aspect of what I wanted to talk to you about today. And this is concerning the 76ers and their possibly being the best benefactor of this restart of the NBA season. And it says how everything is falling into place for the 76ers to shock the world. The NBA season will resume soon, and when it does, the 76ers might be the team that benefits most after the hiatus. So, there are some things in here that I agree with. There might even be some things that I don't agree with. And I'm sure that will be the same way with everyone that's tuned in. Facebook SportsRap Radio Show live right now. So feel free to chime in with your thoughts. Leave me some comments. Talk to me, people. I know you're tuned in because I see you and I wave back to you. I acknowledge you when you do. So, and I know you have some stuff to say. So feel free. It's an open dialogue today. And I warrant the information because I feel like I can't just give you guys information as I do, but I can't just give it to you all basically exactly what they say. I have to give you my interpretation, which is why I feel this is part of my integrity, that I give it to you in my perspective with my thoughts and my views. So I want you to do the same thing. I want you to give me stuff back. I want you to give me feedback. Like I said, I see what's going on. I know that you're tuned in. I see you on social media. I see you watching. I see you tuned in. But sometimes people don't want to express their opinions. I'm all open to you expressing your opinions, and we warrant that here. So it makes for good dialogue, if you will. So the Sixers, as we know, were a 39-win club, and all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and there was a hiatus. You know how we felt about them. They had the best home record, but struggled mightily on the road. We know that. And Ben Simmons' injury towards the end of that stretch where before the season had been halted was really rough for the Sixers. With Ben being injured, trying to piece things together. So they tried some things, and things just were okay. They weren't where they thought or where we felt they should be. So we knew there was some work to be done. Even if the season hadn't been halted, we knew that there was work to be done. So with this hiatus, all the reports that I've seen, all the information that I've gotten, was that Brett Brown had been working and putting his coaching staff to work, looking at things that they did well, things that they did not do well, and then looking at how they fixed the things that they did not do well. So hopefully they worked as they said they were working, and they got some things accomplished. And we will soon see when the NBA season returns. So we all know, like I mentioned last week, that when these games start, they're going to have a bridge to training camp, yada, 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 moving on. But because these guys have not played together in such an extended period of time, I'm almost certain that there's going to be some sloppy play. We know that, we understand that. that there will be some sloppy play to start out. And once they get the kinks out, things will look a lot better and feel a lot better for the players. One of the keys for the Sixers is the fact that this hiatus gave Ben Simmons time to rehab and heal. I've seen some pictures, I've seen some workout, I've read some stuff. It looks like he will be ready to go. If you haven't seen it, you need to Google it and look it up. There's a change. Joel Embiid has stated that he has something to prove. He's been working out apparently 6 times a week, and he said again, like I said, he has something to prove. In my opinion, it's a little bit of a scary statement for me, and I mean that as that statement is put out, and he's putting the rest of the NBA on notice that he has something to prove, where there's already been talk that arguably one of the best big men to play the game, one of the most versatile big men to play the game right now, and can totally dominate when he sets his mind to it, when he gets focused, when he's in good shape. He can totally dominate and totally take over a game. So I'm basing him saying that he has something to prove on that note and on that fact that he is ready to be that dominant figure on the court. Like Shaq and Charles have said about him, if he wants to, when he puts his mind to it, he could arguably be one of, if not the best player on the court at any given time. So hopefully him saying that he has something to prove is definitely a pointer or a opening to that avenue of him coming in and being ready to go full-fledged and dominate like he should. This hiatus for this Sixers team, they say, has done some things where it might have gotten this coaching staff a little bit closer. Like we know, we had to stay at home. A lot of things were virtual. But I think them staying in constant contact with each other made them closer. It made them look at a lot of things different. One of the things is Joel Embiid surged out of the All-Star break. So there again, like I've just mentioned, he knows. People have said it about him. People have said it to him. Yeah, Frank says he needs to stay on the block and in the paint and do damage, less jump shots in the floor. Well, Frank, you have to also take into consideration it's not totally him. I agree with what you said. I do agree that he needs to stay on the block where he can dominate. But he even said it himself in a past interview. I think it was with, I forget who it was, but he even said it in the past interview, the way that the offense was set up, a lot of those times when he was out there shooting those jump shots, that's the way the offense was set up, which the spacing was not good. It was not orchestrated very well by the coaching staff, was one of the things that he said. And I don't think it was any disrespect. I think it was just him giving an answer or giving a response to people asking him about the number of jump shots or the number of three-pointers that he shoots. And he just explained that is the way a lot of times the offense pans out, and those are the shots that I have, so I'm going to take those shots. Cisco, my guy, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. So, again, he said he's been working out 6 times a week, like I said, in the pandemic, and he has something to prove. And whenever the opportunity comes, it's going to be his time. Kevin Wolf, thanks for tuning in. So, again, I'm thinking that he is going to be more focused in getting into the paint and doing more damage in the paint. But again, I don't have an issue if somehow, some way the offense shows up and he's wide open at the three-point line. I'm okay with him shooting it. I'm not okay with that being the first shot into the flow of the offense, though. Okay, I'm not okay with a play being designed for him to shoot that three-pointer. I would rather it be, like I said, we're in transition and he was trailing after getting the rebound or something. The defense breaks down and he's there and it gets kicked to him. He's wide open. You shoot that. or somehow, some way you came out high to set a screen, offense goes and the play breaks down, and then you're the kick out and the three's there, you're open, shoot it. I don't want anything set up just for JoJo to go to the 3-point line and the ball gets kicked to him and then he just shoots that three. I don't want that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm okay with plays breaking down and him being there wide open, shoot it. Okay. Things of that nature. But I also feel like he has been focused. I just feel like it, the way he said it and the things that he has said more recently, that he will be more focused and dominating in the paint. We all have seen what Ben Simmons can do downhill on the basketball court. We all have concerns about him shooting the ball. And everyone says when they shoot the ball, when everyone says the problems with him shooting the ball, everyone goes to the three-pointer. I'm not so concerned about him not shooting the three-pointer. I have a little bit of concerns about him not shooting the mid-range, yes, because I just feel like with the things that he's really good at right now, if he adds that to the repertoire, he could truly be an unstoppable force. He's just pretty much unstoppable right now. But just imagine, like I said, the things that he does well right now. If you add a mid-range, foul line extended jump shot to that, just imagine what could possibly be for the Philadelphia 76ers. So I've seen some of his workouts as well. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. Like I said, he looks apparently ready to continue and play, to come right back at the start of this training camp in the bubble and play, participate immediately. I just hope that the coaching staff can figure out a way to incorporate Al Horford into the offense. I think what they need to do is go back and look at some of the Boston years when he gave us problems. Look at some of those tapes and see how they used him and figure out how you can adjust with what you have on the roster, because the two rosters are made up differently, if you will. The roster that the Sixers had right now is a little different than what was on Boston when Al was there. So you have to find ways to get him in his comfort zone. He's already showed with the one instance where he came off the bench for a little stretch that he's willing to help the team along. He's willing to do what needs to be done to help the team succeed. So you now have to find your ways to get him incorporated into the offense. You have to let Tobias Harris know, assure him that he can take those shots. A lot of times when you look at the Sixers, there were instances where some of the guys weren't sure what they were supposed to do in given moments. So I think that's one of the things that hindered Brett Brown's success. You have to assure these guys that when they have certain shots or when they're in certain points of the game, it's on you. You do what you do. You know, that's how your stars build confidence. That's how your stars continue their confidence. It's how it helps your other players gain confidence. And it builds a better communication level where there's a better understanding between coach and player of what needs to be done on the court. And then that ultimately leads to success on the court and winning basketball games. So they have to figure it out. They definitely have to figure it out. And again, I think Brett Brown is a good coach. He's a solid coach. I think he needs to be a little bit more disciplined and be more of a disciplinarian to his players. And when I say that, I mean he needs to hold these guys accountable. From the talk that I've heard from the players most recently with everything in the pre-stages of the restart, I think that they're coming in focused. They understand what's at hand. But as a coach, you also have to hold these players, no matter stars, bench players, whoever. You have to hold these guys accountable, and you have to hold yourself accountable for everything that goes on involving this team. There's still, after all, you're in the business to be a team. You're in the business to win games, and ultimately your goal is to win a championship. So you have to take that all into consideration. And again, if this thing can come together, you know, it could be something good for the city of Philadelphia and something good for the Philadelphia 76ers. So, that being said, the next thing I want to move into is the 5 biggest questions heading into Orlando for the Sixers. Antonio Bennett, what's going on? And this is including the health of Ben Simmons and Brett Brown's job. Some of the stuff that we just briefly talked about. So this second part of this is just a little bit more detailed. And like I said, it actually has these questions broken down with some legit answers. And like I said, I will break these down and give you my take on what's being said in the article. So the first question is, how will the Sixers fare at a neutral location without fans? So again, like we said in that first half, how this hiatus could bode well for the Sixers. We all know their struggles on the road. You're in neutral sites now. Okay, so you can, for all intent purposes, take away the home and away feel. And also, there's no fans. Okay. I think this will help the Sixers a lot because we've seen how they can play. They have impressive wins at home, mind you, over the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Milwaukee Bucks. But they also have suffered some embarrassing losses on the road to the lowly Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards. So, there's no real tell how this will pan out for the Sixers. But I think that as a basketball player on a neutral site where now you don't have to even think about that slight advantage, and you already know that there's not going to be that differentiated crowd noise. And when I say that, I mean we all understand. We've been at games. If you're a fan, you've been to games. You understand. You've seen games on TV. You understand the difference between playing at home in front of your hometown fans and playing in front of another team's hometown fans. You understand the difference. There's a difference. There's more heckling. Heckling goes on both instances, but it's more heckling, a lot more on the road. It's a lot more derogatory stuff being spewed, and I'm just calling a spade because I've been there and I've heard it. You even have sometimes you have fans that come into a home team's arena that are from that hometown, but are fans of the visiting team that will get into it with the fans of that home team. So with that noise taken away, these guys can concentrate now on just playing basketball and concentrating on their opponent across the line or across the floor from them. And I think for the Sixers, I think that would bode well because, like we said, that home arena for them was magnificent. Like we said, they had the best record, 29-2 at home before the season halted. So I think they can bring that mind frame